Quebec is a separate entity from Canada. It's a different culture. They used to have a very Christian culture here. Kids were numerous in families, 6, 8, 12. My mother was from a family of 12 kids. And right up to the 60s. And at that point, 1960, 1962, it was called the Quiet Revolution. And things went topsy-turvy. And so from a Christian, pro-life, pro-family state, you went to a Marxist, anti-life, anti-family state. And so today you've got the worst situation in Canada.
It affects families, this culture of death that's been building, particularly in Quebec. It's like the tide swang from being the most devout province with you can't find a street name without a saint's name on it practically, to throwing the baby out with the bathwater and turning the back on the church and then being very hostile towards life in general and the culture.
I've been doing pro-life ministry for the last 10 years in the Montreal area since 2010. Generally, there's a caution that I feel whenever I go on the streets, go on the sidewalks. Caution because of the violence that I've seen, either directed towards myself or to volunteers that come to pray with me or to minister with me. Throughout the country, university students are quite militant against the pro-life ministry. What I notice in Montreal, in my experience over the last 10 years, is how militant and also how violent they are. Sometimes it's not unusual during a prayer vigil that a group of them, anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15, come and impose themselves on us, yelling at us, ordering us to leave. On a couple instances, they became violent and destroyed the equipment that we had. In one instance, upwards of 100 students came out, and there were only 3 of us on site at the particular time.
Things are really tough going. Just lately in the House of Commons, or the National Assembly as they call it here, they had a motion that was unanimously supporting abortion, supporting the right, so-called, of women to have an abortion. And they do this periodically as if it was a kind of ritual that they had to do to dissociate themselves from their past. And so you've got a situation in Quebec where they used to be Christian and they completely rebelled against that, and they are stubborn in their rebellion. And it makes it all the more difficult to bring things back, to get sanity back, because they are, hell-bent, literally, on maintaining their death stance.
Nobody's talking about the effect this is having on women. They keep talking about women's choice, but they're not talking about how it's destroying them and their spirit, and often physically. Like, they're not able to have children later when they want them because something was torn, during the procedure. Or, so many horrific cases. And it's just very sad. So it motivates me to keep going and praying and trying to do what I can to turn towards a culture of life.
When you deal with this level of horror, you just have to say, God, please stop this.